Welcome everyone! In this video, we are going to be diving into my top 5 best teams for the Holiday Cup. At the time of recording this video, the Holiday Cup is set to drop later on today at the typical time that leagues reset, and it's looking like a pretty fun meta. The Holiday Cup has always been one of my favorite specialty cups, and that has not changed this season. The meta has shifted quite a bit with the new Season 17 changes, so without further ado, let's dive right in. Alright guys, kicking things off, we've got team number 1, a very powerful team for this Holiday Cup meta, and it leads with Dunsparce on the lead. Lantern in the back, along with Skarmory also in the back for team number 1. This is a relatively balanced team, and all 3 of these Pokemon are quite bulky, so a lot of bulk, a lot of power on this team. Let's have a look at the scorecard here. Very strong scorecard for Team 1. We get A's across the board with a glaring C in that safety department, but I would take that with a grain of salt. Getting a solid safety score, or a stellar safety score, let's say, in this meta, quite difficult. So I would take that with a grain of salt. But beside that, we get an A for coverage, A for bulk, and an A for consistency. And again, we do have that C for safety. But let's have a look at these matchups here. Very dominant team. My goodness, look at all of those purple and pink X's. That's a lot of wins across the board with team number 1 here. Dunsparce on the lead, going to be quite strong, going to be quite the core breaker, as I do anticipate seeing quite a bit of fire types in this meta, as well as quite a bit of electric types. And we've got ice, so Dunsparce can hit just about everything in this meta for super effective or neutral damage. There are very few things that resist what Dunsparce can put out. So Vigoroth on the lead will be quite common and might be a bit difficult, definitely would be a bit difficult for Dunsparce to handle. The way I would play that, you could play it a couple of ways. You could stay in and soft lose lead and look to realign based upon your team read, as both Pokemon in the back do quite all right up against Vigoroth on the lead. Or you could look to chip and dip. The safe swap on this team, I would say, would be Lantern. I don't anticipate seeing too many grass types in the meta. So you could somewhat safely look to pivot into Lantern at some point if you're making a read that you might need your Dunsparce. That's how I would play that. But Vigoroth on the lead is going to be the only tricky one to handle. Everything else in between is pretty straightforward. This team overall very strong. I just wanted to go over Vigoroth because it's going to be very common in the meta. And if it's proving to be a bit difficult to handle Vigoroth, you could switch it up a little bit and look to lead with either Lantern or Skarmory based upon what you're seeing a lot of at your particular elo. But for now, I think it's a pretty safe alignment here with Dunsparce on the lead. Going to be winning lead quite a bit. So that is Team 1. Dunsparce, Lantern, and Skarmory. Very powerful team here for Team 1. And with all that said, let's have a look at Team number 2. Alright guys, we make our way to team number 2, another very powerful team for the Holiday Cup. It leads with Charjabug on the lead, Vigoroth on the safe swap, and Lantern in the back. You might be seeing quite a bit of Lantern, guys. It's very strong in this meta, understandably so. Very strong Pokemon overall. But Charjabug also very strong in this meta. All 3 of these, in fact, are very strong. So let's have a look at the scorecard here. Not bad, very powerful scorecard here for Team 2. We get a B for coverage, B for bulk, A for safety, and an A for consistency. Very strong scorecard here for Team 2. Let's have a look at these matchups. So, we're actually ABA electric, but Charjabug does not share the same weaknesses as Lantern. So it kind of plays like a bit of a balanced team as well. So Charjabug on the lead. Again, Vigoroth gonna be a problem for most teams in this meta. It's a bit of a problem with Rock Slide now being added, as well as the Body Slam spam. It just outpaces. So what you could look to do on a Vigoroth lead is look to chip and dip. You never want to really dip into or immediately swap your own Vigoroth into a opposing Vigoroth on even shields and energy, because you will always be behind on or even shields and health, I should say, because you will always be behind on energy. So getting that health advantage for your own Vigoroth, I think, is key. Very difficult to catch moves, but if you can pull it off, try and catch that Rock Slide on your own Vigoroth and look to play on from there. If not, get the damage off or get the shield and then look to make the play into your own Vigoroth. That's how I would play that on the lead. What else do we have here? I would play double the same way, get that chip damage in, or the shield. And we've got Skeledirge here. That one's actually a lot closer than you would think. Of course, ideally, you would like to have your Lantern on that Skeledirge, but you do have your option of running Crunch as well, which could be nice for Skeledirge. I had a closer look at the differences between Crunch and Discharge. I'm just not sure Crunch is quite worth it. Mostly for flyers and opposing water types. I think you'll generally want to have that discharge on your Charjabug. But you can, it'll take a team effort with Skeledirge. Ideally, you want to have Lantern on it, but you never want to go right into your best option. You could look to land a discharge, or if you do decide to go Crunch, that would also be quite nice for Skeledirge. That's basically all you really want it for. Everything else, discharge is generally the way to go. But yeah, you can. It'll be a lot easier for you to catch as well. You could catch on the Vigoroth if they try to hit that Shadow Ball. Catching that on Vigoroth would be quite nice, but eventually I think you do want to make your way into that Vig after getting in some damage or grabbing a shield advantage. And everything else I do believe is pretty straightforward. Very strong team here for Team 2. Very strong scorecard. A lot of power on this team. So that is Team 2. Charjabug on the lead, Vigoroth on the safe swap, and Lantern in the back. And if you have any lingering questions, guys, with any of these teams, and you're not currently a part of my Discord, do hop onto the Discord. You can ask me anything you like. Link in the description. Absolutely free to join, and we always have a very fun time on my Discord server. But that's Team 2. With all that said, let's have a look at Team number 3. All right, guys, here we go. Team number 3, another very powerful team for the Holiday Cup. It leads with Double on the lead, Lantern in the back, along with Gligar. So this team, very strong. We'll go over the dynamics in just a second, but let's have a look at the scorecard here. And very strong scorecard here for Team 3. We get an A for coverage, B for bulk, B for safety, and an A for consistency. You don't get much better than that. Very strong scorecard. And these matchups, I do believe, are even stronger. Holy smokes, guys. We've got more purple and pink X's than I've seen in quite some time on any team with PvPoke. That just goes to show the power of team number 3 here. So, if you haven't noticed already, all 3 of these Pokemon can beat Vigoroth. This is sort of the anti-Vigoroth team, equipped to handle Vigoroth at every turn. That's how the team, that's what I had in mind. I wanted to give you guys a very strong Vigoroth team to where it doesn't really have anywhere to go. It just makes perfect sense with a Pokemon that's going to be as common as Vigoroth. So all 3 beat Vig, but can perform beautifully against just about everything in between. So the idea with this team is you're not swapping out, you're not hard pivoting. Double has fairly neutral matchups, if not positive matchups across the board, as we can see here. You're just either going to win lead or soft lose lead with Double. That's the game with this team. And if you soft lose lead, you'll look to realign with either Lantern or Gligar. That's the simplicity of this team. And if you play it that way, I can guarantee you're going to have some very solid results with it. So, yeah. Simple team, powerful results. I think the matchups speak for themselves. This team shuts out just about every top Pokemon in the meta. So very powerful team here for Team 3. Very simple strategy. We're either winning lead or soft losing lead with Double. And if we soft lose lead, we're looking to realign with either Lantern or Gligar. Plain and simple. Simple yet powerful. So that is Team 3, Double on the lead, Lantern and Gligar in the back. And with all that said, let's have a look at Team number 4. All right, guys, here we go. Team number 4, another very powerful team. Another, this team quite strong, and we'll see in just a minute. But for the team, it leads with Unova Stunfisk on the lead, Vigoroth on the safe swap, and Skarmory in the back. Let's have a look at this scorecard here. And not bad, not bad. Pretty solid overall. We get an A for coverage, B for bulk, C for safety, and an A for consistency. Not bad at all for team number 4 here. Let's have a look at these matchups. So, Unova Stunfisk. Got to be very strong in the meta. You can handle Vigoroth on the lead, the ever so common Vigoroth. What the team might struggle with a little bit is a Lantern on the lead. As we can see, Lantern has narrow victories over both Unova Stunfisk and Vigoroth so this is an average of the 0s and 1s, an amalgamation. So if you average them out, that's what we see here. But for Lantern, I wanted to highlight specifically, you win the 2s. And I do think it might be worth playing out the 2s and committing to the 2-shield scenario to get rid of a Lantern. Because having that locked on the Skarmory, that's just such a dominant matchup. I think it's worth playing out the 2-shield scenario to get rid of the Lantern and then look to play on from there. But Lantern aside, you've got strong play across the entire board here, as we can see. Double, I would look to chip and dip, hit it with a Mud Bomb, and then you tank their move, and then you go into Vigoroth. That's how I play double. But Lantern, I would hard commit to that 2-shield on the lead. Look to get rid of it. They may want to save their Lantern, ended up giving you switch, so that's even better. But if they're happy to stay in, play out the 2s, take that thing out, and look to play on from there. Lantern was the only real hiccup that I identified. Everything else in between, very much straightforward. This team, very strong, very dominant for the Holiday Cup meta. It leads with Unova Stunfisk on the lead, Vigoroth on the safe swap, and Skarmory in the back. So, with all that said, that is Team 4. Let's have a look at Team number 5. All right, guys, rounding things out, we've got Team 5 here. Skeledirge on the lead, Double on the safe swap, and Dunsparce in the back. So, very high-octane team here. Very strong team. Let's have a look here. Oh, there we go. We get a B for coverage on the scorecard, B for bulk, B for safety, and an A for consistency. So, not bad overall. Very solid here for Team 5. Let's look at these matchups, and not bad. So, some very decent matchups across the board here for Team 5. Lantern could be a bit of an issue, of course, with Skeledirge, as it is recommended that Lantern runs Water Gun in this meta. So most Lanterns that you encounter will be running Water Gun, and just Lantern in general is not great for Skeledirge, so that's one that you're going to immediately swap into Double and look to play on from there. What else do we have here? I think Lantern is the biggest issue for this team. Unova Stunfisk, you can handle with the 2 Pokemon in the back. The reason why Lantern is such a problem is because, of course, with that water typing, it's resisting that incinerate damage, but Stunfisk doesn't resist that. What the problem with Stunfisk is it outpaces to the super effective Mud Bombs. So, yeah, that's not really one you'd want to stay in on and mess around with. I would just instantly go into Double, treat that as you would a Lantern. And everything else in between here for Team 5 is pretty straightforward. Again, if you ever have any questions regarding any of these teams, you can hop into my Discord. The link is in the description. It is absolutely free to join. You can ask me anything you want, and we always have a very fun time in my Discord. But that is Team 5. Skeledirge on the lead, Double on the safe swap, and Dunsparce in the back. And that about wraps it up, guys, for my top 5 best teams for the Holiday Cup. Again, this is historically one of my favorite metas, one of the oldest specialty cups, and has definitely withstood the test of time. It doesn't get particularly toxic as it carries on, so yeah, very fun meta, very solid meta, and I don't see that changing this year. But guys, I had a blast. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching, and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.